Hello, welcome everybody. We are here with Janessa, and do you go by Nessa?
My email goes by Nessa. I don't know
Yeah.
why that is, but
I
either
don't
is
know why that
fine.
is. I was like looking you up and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Anyway,
my
so
email just gave me its own name and I've checked all of my settings. I don't know. Technology.
your email is determined to give you a nickname. All right. Uh, so she is from Fiercely Radiant Soul, and she does mindset work, tapping, and all kinds of great stuff to help us reframe and break out of our rut just really quickly. And I think that was so interesting when you said you are able to do this work really rapidly. So, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and I'm so excited to help people understand how their brain works. Really, at the root of all of our desires and goals and aspirations in life is getting our mindset on board so that we can get there. And when we know how to work with our mind and our nervous system, then we can speed up that process dramatically. So we're very empowered as long as we have the right tools and the right knowledge. So we are going to get into some tips today that you guys are going to be able to use all of the time to make your path easier. But I also want to give you a little bit of cognitive information, the boring stuff, but it is the why. And it is so powerful to understand how we work as humans. I don't know why this stuff is not taught in high school or PE or some other place within our education system. And so that was part of why I do teach when I give these methods as well, because at my core, I am a teacher and knowledge really is power. So let's get into it. First of all, let's understand our brain. I'm going to help you guys understand how your brain works and then why the nervous system is so important as well. So, our brain essentially has two different modes. We have the mode where we are thinking, we're engaged in a project, we're playing a sport, we are active. And in that mode, our brain is very, very focused and very activated within whatever we are setting our mind to do. Now, outside of that time, because a lot of our time is not during the day spent in these states of active thinking. So when we are outside of that, our brain flips a switch. It does not stop working. Our mind is never at rest. It flips the switch into a default mode. And within that default mode, we become very us centered. We think about ourselves, we think about our past, we think about all the things people did wrong to us, we think about all of the things we did wrong, we think about the future, we think about future engagements, activities, commitments. We worry about if we're going to, nail it, if we're going to do well, how we need to prepare. And so with these thoughts always precede feelings. Then we have feelings of sadness, depression, whatever comes from living in the past, which is some sort of usually a connection to a depressed emotion of some sort or a lower vibration emotion of some sort. Then when we look ahead and we ruminate or worry about the future, we have those emotions that accompany anxiety. Now, this is so important because when we want to expand, when we want to grow in business, any area of life, expand or growth, but with this being business focused and our impact, which is very huge to us as humans to really leave our impact in the world, we have to be able to expand to move forward. In order to grow in any element, there is an expansion that is necessary. Those glass ceilings, that saying isn't there for no reason. And in order to expand, we have to be confident, we have to be calm, we have to be centered, we have to be peaceful. Now, when we have these thoughts that are creating all of these lower vibration emotions, when we're in default mode, that does not set us up for success with expansion and growth. It's actually counterproductive. And even though we're not really aware of what those thoughts are unless we truly tune in when we are at rest to pay attention. And if you do, you're going to quickly understand what areas you need to rewire within your brain. This is so profound that actually one of the 3 things that we are least happy is during times of rest. That's how powerful this default mode is that we just check out and don't pay attention to. So we have to work with also not only getting our thoughts on board, but then releasing those emotions through our nervous system so our nervous system can expand. We are given this brain that truly is only concerned with keeping us alive. It doesn't care if we're happy. It doesn't care if we're peaceful. It doesn't care if we're filled with joy. All of that comes through our heart. Our mind is set up to keep us alive. So if it perceives growth in our business, being seen, being successful, any of that as a threat, we're going to shrink back. We're going to clog up our nervous system with all of this fear, worry, angst, and we're going to shrink into a place where we stay in that glass ceiling. We stay in that comfort zone. So when we can get our mind and our thoughts tracking with where we want to go, we get our emotions hopeful, confident, centered, high vibration, then you're going to start taking these leaps forward quicker than you ever imagined. Now, I'm sure you're curious, how can you do this in 5 minutes, Janessa? Right? Fair question. So we're probably familiar with affirmations and affirmation work, where it takes the brain at least a minimum of 3 weeks to cognitively rewire that neural pathway for that new affirmation, that new belief, the new thought. And we have to say that affirmation over and over and over for those 3 weeks every day. And when we don't feel it, when we know it's not true and it's not yet in our belief system, as we're saying that over and over and over, we can also feel that misalignment. And then we feel that self-agitation that comes with it, more negative emotions. So we can take that process. I can self-admittedly say I did a whole long journey of, oh, it's so strong to go it alone. Oh, it's so amazing to have these self-created breakthroughs. Oh, it's so empowering. Okay, it is true. But I have since also learned to honor myself in having a team of people who have gone before me, who know quicker, easier, faster ways. Why sit in that struggle? And I was very attached to my struggle. But stepping outside of that struggle, I found these tools to quickly create some of these breakthroughs for myself, but also to work with people who could see my blind spots. We all have blind spots. I still have coaches because I know that I am going to be much happier and lighter in life when I'm not battling my blind spots when I cannot see them. So let's get some tools for you guys to use on your own and lean into those support systems. Create your community, whatever that looks like for you on your journey, so that you can move at the pace that sets your soul on fire. So I first want to walk you through a little bit of a mindset shift so you can feel this work happening within minutes, truly within minutes. When we integrate the energy and the breath, you're going to build that new neural pathway instead of in a minimum of 21 days, within a few minutes here today. So I want you to experience how powerful this is on your own. And then I will follow up with giving you guys a couple tools to use on your own. And of course, if there's any questions, Carolyn, please let me know. We'll take questions and whatever to help support as well. Okay, so this is so simple as breathing. That's all I'm going to ask for you to do. I'm going to do a little energy integration over here. Everything is energy. Our thoughts are energy. When you think about the messages, even within inside of our body, those are traveling through these electrical circuits from our brain down our nerves, through our body. Everything is energy. So we're going to leverage that energy to create these supportive thoughts and beliefs for your success. So first, to get us started, if you would like, you can place a hand on your heart, your solar plexus, which is just above your belly button. So kind of hand and stomach areas if you want to. You don't have to, just be comfortable. That's the most important thing. I want you to take a few breaths for me. We're going to start by balancing your energy systems. We have 7 energy systems in this human body. And so we want to clear out any interfering energy that would limit or resist your ability to integrate this shift now. Okay, so take a couple deep, intentional, releasing, clearing breaths. It's that simple. Okay. And what I really want to focus on when I was preparing to meet with you all is something we all experience in business, and it's being told no. And a lot of times, being told no can set us back. It can drain our energy. It can rock confidence. It can leave us in doubt and questioning. Am I on the right path? Am I doing the right thing? It can even trigger an even worse story of imposter syndrome. I knew I shouldn't be doing this. Who am I to do this? Or failure. Gosh, another no, I'm never going to get anywhere. I'm a failure. So we have to get really comfortable with hearing no. And it actually supports us to have a belief that no is our freedom. Because if you think about when someone tells you no, you're no longer exerting any effort. You're free to move on to the next person. You're free to use your time and space for the next step. Now, that is way more empowering than, I don't know, think about it. Can you send me more information? I have some questions. Now, those things aren't bad either. But we have such a negative connotation with no. And that's what we want to reset for you so that when you hear no, you're like, okay, on to the next thing. Didn't attract the right person. I'm so grateful to know that. On to the next one. Okay. So there can be a lot of different factors that come into how no is so negative for us. And it always will stem back to our experiences as a child, because that is when our unconscious and subconscious programming comes into play. As kids, we hear no all the time, especially when we're toddlers, getting into things, exploring things. No, 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 no. We're told no all the time, and it stifles us because then we start having these unconscious programmings that we shouldn't explore. It's not safe to try something, not really have it work, and try something different because we're supposed to stop before we even try the first time. These are the thoughts and programmings that we're going to rewire for everyone here today so that you can be filled with zest and excitement to try something new. And when you hear no, you're going to be relieved to be able to move forward. Okay. So let's check in with everyone's timeline first. And for the group, it's actually the age of 1. So I simply want you to take some deep breaths with the intention that you're clearing all of these negative programming, negative energy from the age of 1 all the way back up to current day. Every time you've been told no, from those times you don't even consciously remember as a child, to those times when you went for a job promotion or some other big thing that you really, really wanted and you were disappointed because you didn't get it. We're not carrying that with us any further. You get to start fresh every minute of every day. Just take some deep breaths in and deep breaths out. Now, as you move through this timeline, you might have memories pop up of some of those instances Those are happening purposely, and we're just releasing any negative emotion from those memories. So they can be experiences that serve you and teach you. That's something that's going to help you further you along your path. Great work. Then we're going to work a little generational energy as well, because we do get energy passed to us from our parents. And whatever our ancestors experienced, it really does affect us too. So we want to release that so that we're free to not have to live out any ancestral programming or stories any further. So we are going to start on dad's side of the family and just checking in for the group as an average. We're going back to 59 generations. So take some deep breaths and just allow any energy that does not serve you to be released and cleansed from you and your family lineage. And then we're going to go to mom's side of the family, and mom's side goes back 39 generations. So just setting your intention as you breathe to release that energy that you inherited from mom's side of the family, where being told no was devastating, it was challenging, it was hard. Great. And then we want to release some of those low vibrational energies that we picked up and have carried along with us from these times of disappointment. And disappointment is the first thing we want to release. So breathe through that. Let's release the disappointment, the doubt, the scarcity, the worry, the limitations, any anger that comes up, and being told no, not getting your way. We're human. We're made to have emotions and tantrums. We just don't want to unpack in it. So it's fair and fine if you have had or have tantrums. Just release that because it's easier to be able to move through it and flow. And we want to connect you to your ideal clients, to your confidence, to the knowledge, but that knowingness that you know enough, right? Because there's always someone in our journeys, lots of someones that haven't yet encountered the information that you hold. And you are able easily to attract those people to you. It's just a story when we tell ourselves that we don't know enough. We can continue to learn, but we don't have to know anything more than what we know right now to have success. We're also going to connect you to success and to growth and to ease. Let it be easy. And then the last thing before we integrate some affirmations is we want to close down 41 old thought forms, thought pathways, neural pathways in the brain. They no longer serve where you are in your journey. So essentially, it's like buying the first Apple iPhone and never having updated your operating system. Nobody does that. Nobody. So, not updating our mindset and allowing these old default programs that we picked up as a child from the religion we grew up in, or the no religion we grew up in, or the beliefs of our family, or the beliefs of our teachers, the beliefs of our peers. Not updating that is no different than updating a phone. And not updating a phone is absurd. Nobody does that. So let's update our minds too. So just take some breaths, and those old neural pathways are going to close down of these 41 thought processes that are old and stale and don't help you take that next step forward. And we don't need to know what they are. And then we're going to work with just a few affirmations here as we end this little power session, that if they serve you and your belief system, you can take some breaths and build that pathway within just a couple minutes. So the first one is hearing no creates freedom. Take a couple breaths on that. And anything that still remains blocking that from being your truth is simply going to dissolve and be released. It's that easy. Hearing no creates freedom. How good does that feel? And it's not just hearing no, it's also exercising no. For those of us who overcommit or people please, and it's hard to say no, even when it's something we don't want to do, then we're tethered to something of obligation. So also saying no is freedom. No is a path to freedom. Clients find me easily and effortlessly. That feels so good. Everyone wants that. Clients find me easily and effortlessly. I am capable of attracting my soulmate clients. I am worthy and deserving of receiving ideal client referrals. Referrals are so much fun. So just let those flow to you. And then the very last, something I said earlier, let it be easy. All right. So when you're ready, you can come back into present. Might want to take a drink of water. That helps move the energy around too. If you have water near you, you definitely don't have to. Energy work always is amplified and integrated with water. So be sure to stay hydrated. Okay, so then tools. Are we ready for tools? So the first one I'm going to share with you here is a simple breathing technique that you can use on your own. I don't actually know. I'm usually like, I do love books. I will just own my nerdiness. But I was going to say, I'm usually like the librarian of information of where things came from, and I'd love to give credit where credit is due. I don't know. I don't know where this came from, but I know it to be called the flutter breath. And maybe some of you guys have experienced this already and you call it something else. It's super simple. I encourage you to do it for 3 minutes. Sometimes I even do it when I'm driving. If that doesn't distract you, I'm not necessarily making that recommendation. Please drive safely. But my point is it's very simple to use anywhere that you are. You want to breathe through your mouth rather than your nose. And you're going to take quick, shallow breaths for 3 minutes. That's simply all it is. And the breath, as we just experienced, is very cleansing, it's very powerful, and it helps rewire our brain. So when you get stuck in a rut where you're thinking these same negative thoughts over and over and over, or you're nervous and you're preparing for an event and you just need to raise your vibration, simply flutter breathing for 3 minutes will change your mood. I usually cannot get through all of the 3 minutes without breaking out with a big smile on my face. That's just the effect that it has on me. So let's do it here for a minute and a half or so. We'll do half of the time. Now, please pay attention as you do this. If you do get lightheaded, You may need to take a deeper breath throughout. We don't want anyone passing out or anything like that. I've never ever had that happen, but I do like to use that disclaimer so no one can ever say that it does happen. It shouldn't happen, but you might notice some tingling. Just pay attention to your body. A lot of people don't tune into their body, but pay attention to your body as you do this. So simply breathe shallowly through your mouth in and out as fast as you can comfortably. And we'll do it for about a minute and a half and just pay attention to how you feel. Check in on a scale of 1 to 10 right now. Where are you? And then we'll check it when we get done too. Okay. All right. Here we go.
This is hard. Need to do some practice.
It is challenging. It sounds like it's so simple. And 3 minutes sounds like it would be so short, but it's not how we're designed or wired to breathe, that's for sure.
That is interesting.
Breathing techniques?
Yeah.
You caught my attention, sorry.
You could be watching this. We are streaming live on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Oh, cool. What do I look up?
My husband just got here.
Hi, hubby.
Hi. All sorts of breath meditation.
Yes. Yeah, so I could feel a bunch of energy moving with that. So hopefully everyone notices a little bit or a lot of bit of a difference as you check back in on that scale of 1 to 10 and see, did you move up just in a minute and a half? Did you move up maybe a step or two? Usually when I do it for the full 3 minutes, I'll move up, 3 to 5 rungs on my ladder. And everyone's different, but it's a great tool and it will switch some of your thinking as well. It's really powerful. So especially if you go into that and you're having a thought of like, I just can't XYZ, whatever you're working on, start asking, what is the solution I am not yet seeing? What's an easy way to accomplish this? And then do the breathing and then release it. And don't sit and dwell. Don't stress yourself. Don't clog up the nervous system with a whole bunch of negative emotions. And then see what just comes to you. And also learn where your magic place is for having things come to you. Some people, it's sitting in meditation. Other people, it's right before they fall asleep or they wake up in the middle of the night or right when they wake up in the morning. Some people, it's on a walking meditation. For me personally, movement is magic. Typically, when I'm working out, I'll have a whole bunch of stuff come to me and I'm like, oh, there it is. Man, I spent so much time trying to find and problem solve this, and I just needed to work out and stop thinking about it. Stop ruminating on it. Find your magic space of where those things come to you. Now, the final tool I want to give to you guys with working with your nervous system, processing those emotions, trust me, even if you're a thinker, because we have the heart, the head, the heart, and the gut. So we have very intuitive people who tend to jump out of that. They know it, but then they go to their head and their head's like, well, this is more logical. We have the thinkers who live in their head where things are rational, and we have our feelers. So most of our feelers are very in touch with what they feel. And our head point, as we call them in the Enneagram personality system that I use to work with clients. But people who think a lot are going to have a hard time tuning into their body. So whether you're in touch with your feelings or not, please use this tool, because even if you don't realize your feelings, they're there. Because remember, when you're thinking, there are emotions being created from those thoughts. So even though your focus might be fully on what you're thinking, your body is still having a physical response, energy and motion, emotions, to the thoughts that you're having. So I will share the link. It is about a 10 or 15-minute exercise. People who use this say the more they use it, the better they feel and the easier things are. For those who experience a lot of anxiety, my recommendation is always to use it in the morning as part of your getting ready for the day routine, and at night as part of your getting ready for bed. It will help you sleep better. It also will alleviate phobias, food cravings. It heals trauma, limiting beliefs, allergies, like all sorts of things when you really know how to use it. But even when you don't know how to use it, you're still going to get crazy awesome results with it, because you never know how this energy that's clogging up your nervous system is actually affecting your physical body. Because that nervous system is all the way through our body, from our brain all the way down our spinal cord and out our nervous system. And when these emotions get stuck there, it causes all sorts of physical ailments. So you just never know what you might self-heal simply by tapping. And that's what this is. It's tapping on the energy pathways that flow through our body. And those pathways are designed to release various different emotions: anger, shame, anxiety, sad, sorrow, all sorts of different ones. So we tap. This is not where we start, but I'm going to show you a few of the points, and you can use it now if you'd like. Tap on the top of your head. Tap in between the eyebrows at the bridge of the nose. Tap on the outside of the eye socket and all the way underneath. Kind of tricky with my glasses. Under the nose and under the chin, or the bottom lip, I'm sorry. And then our fingers. This is my favorite. I'm going to teach you the fingers because, so you're going to want to, if you hold your thumbs up, you're going to want to tap on what would be the top side at the base of the nail on each of your digits. Yep, so on the outside of the finger or thumb. It's so hard to show this on video because I feel like it's backward. Yeah, you got it. You're right on it. So that is where those points are. But I love to teach the hands because sometimes we're in a meeting and someone says something and it hits us off, right? And it triggers shame, anger, disappointment. Or maybe we're at dinner with a significant other or a friend and the same thing happens. So I'll just sit there with my hands and there's at the table. I'll do a little tapping to release that emotion. And then I can see clearly of how I want to respond rather than react.
So
You
we
can
don't
put it
need
down on the
to
plate.
think any particular thing while we're doing this?
So when you use the video that I'm going to share, you can for sure, and that walks you through that, of what thought you want to reverse or what emotion that you're really, really feeling overwhelmed with. And you can for sure specify. I always get to a place like I need to sit down and write this word. I get to this place every time I talk and I'm like, to make it the most your own. What is that? Personalized, but I can never retrieve that word when I need it. So I stumble through this. So you can personalize it to exactly what you need it to be. And that tutorial will walk you through doing that, for the sake of just knowing where some of the points are and feeling how quickly that does just zen and fill you with peace. I just wanted to give a few of those points right now so that I don't ramble on here forever with all of you. But if you do the full tutorial, you'll also do some eye movements that are a big part of reprogramming the brain. So make sure you watch it all the way through and do the whole entire thing, because that brain reprogramming with the eye movement is super incredible. It's actually a couple different tapping techniques combined into one. So you get a lot more out of it than just the EFT, which is, I think, the most commonly known tapping technique out there. So you'll see some crossover when you start. You may think, oh, she's just doing EFT. Keep going. There's special treats after you get through the EFT portion.
I love that. I keep hearing great things about tapping and EFT, and I have not tried it, so I'm excited to follow your link as well.
Awesome.
And
Are there
we'll
any
put that in the show
questions?
notes. You mentioned a lot of very specific numbers, and that got me kind of curious, like 59 generations or 40 something neural pathways. Where do those numbers come from?
So when I work with individuals in session, one-on-one, I tune into that person's energy specifically. And if people have heard of muscle testing, I do use muscle testing to access, it's our divine wisdom and knowledge. I like to use the analogy of a seed. People are growing their gardens and flowers and things this time of year. When you plant that seed, no one has to tell the seed which way to grow the roots or which way the leaves need to go to break through the soil. It's in this dark hole and has no idea which way is up, yet it knows which way is up. We have that same intelligence. And muscle testing is a physical way to get that information from our unconscious mind, our soul, our higher self, source, whatever that is for each person's belief system. So an example just quickly of that is, for instance, I'll ask for my body's yes, and my arm stays strong. We get a muscle response from our body when we ask information. And then I ask for my body to show me it's no, and it goes weak. So then if you were to ask me things about that you may not know, so for instance, do I have a sister? It's like a lie detector test. Nope, I have 0 sisters. Is my favorite food chocolate? Like I would love to lie and say no, right? But it is our lie detector system. So this is how we can bypass the conscious brain. We're talking about rewiring the unconscious mind, which is where so many of our decisions come from. Actually, it's over 90% of what we decide to do or what we believe about ourselves lies in our unconscious mind. But we use our conscious mind to make all of those decisions when our conscious mind doesn't actually run the show. It thinks it does, but it doesn't. So with using that applied kinesiology or muscle testing, we're able to shortcut and bypass the conscious mind to see what is at the heart and the root of what is getting in our own way, keeping us stuck in that rut. So that is also part of the amazingness of why it takes minutes and not days, because we're going in to that weed and pulling it out at the root rather than pulling off a couple leaves or snapping it off at the surface level of the ground.
It's getting quite noisy over here, so I think we'll have to wrap things up. But I will get the link from you and put it in the show notes and the comments so that everybody can take advantage of that resource and get connected to you and learn more about what you do. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing these great techniques.
You are very welcome. And if anyone is wanting more of these, they can jump over on Facebook to the group Stronger Together, where I go live at least once a month. And I do these little mini power sessions for people as well. So that's a great place to explore and learn more about the mindset work.
Oh, fantastic. All right. Well, I am going to end things there.
Thank you so much.